I was making about $450 a month in cash flow. And at 16 years old, there really wasn't a lot else that I needed money for. My parents made it very clear I was not getting an allowance. So I was going to have to figure out, hey, if you want to make money, you're going to have to figure out how yourself. If you're not going to take a flip and you're not going to be the one to set the comp in the area, you're not going to hire interior designers. Whenever people walk in, it doesn't have that wow factor. The house is going to sit on the market for months. You're going to get eaten up in holding costs. And at the end of the day, you're not going to make any money or possibly take a haircut and lose it.
For right now, get as liquid as possible and underwrite a lot of deals. Like, go out and look for deals that they are available.
Yes.
And this is the time to pounce.
One in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million.
I am so excited for our first guest here. We have Cody Caswell with us, who started investing when he was only 16 years old. He is now 25. He has 70 doors and he uses the BRRRR strategy to scale his portfolio. So I'm really excited today to dive in to see how he accomplished so much at a young age. So welcome, Cody.
Thanks. I'm super excited to be here with everybody. Hopefully I can add value to the audience in every way possible. So super excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
So let's dive into our first segment. It's called That Feeling When, or TFW, as we like to call it. And it's where we talk about kind of the epiphany that you had when you realized that real estate investing could be a career, something that you do full time. So it sounds like you started super young. So can you just take us back? Did you have that epiphany at 16?
Yeah, so let's take it back and kind of go back to where I was at 16 years old and kind of what led me all into this. So at 16 years old, I had saved up about $5,000. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but it was just something I had saved up from working odds and ends jobs. And my entire life, my grandpa had this little saying that he would say. He'd say, you don't need cash to live. You need income to live because bills come monthly. I just kind of figured out, okay, well, that's going to be providing income. I can rent a house out and get an income monthly, and that's going to pay for all my bills in high school. I'm a high school kid. How much bills do I really have? But at 16 years old, you can't put the title to a house in your name. So what was I going to do? I couldn't go get a loan from the bank. So how was I going to get a rental property? The only way that I could really figure out from talking to different mentors was I can go buy a mobile home. In my local community, we had a few mobile home parks, and in one of them, I ended up putting a note. I ended up writing this note, like maybe 40 or 50 of them, just saying, hey, my name is Cody Caswell. I'm interested in buying your mobile home. If you'd be interested in selling it, if you're interested, please give me a call at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I dropped that in the mailbox of every single tenant in that mobile home park. And sure enough, I got a call from a guy. Said, hey, I'm interested not in selling mine, but I own one next door to me that I was going to eventually fix up and rent out myself, but I'm getting old. I don't want to deal with it. So I went and met with him, and he said that he was going to be the first person to help me on my real estate investing journey. So he charged me $3,500 for it. He said, I'm going to give it to you for $3,500. Did the deal, got a bill of sale, transferred the property into my name. I put the rest of my $1,500 in that mobile home, along with probably 150 hours of my time, because I didn't know what I was doing. And I rented that mobile home out for $665 a month at 16. My lot rent was $165. So before my insurance and repairs, which really weren't much, it was newly renovated, I was making about $450 a month in cash flow. And at 16 years old, there really wasn't a lot else that I needed money for. That paid for all the food I was eating with my friends, and I was still living at home. I had no bills. So it was really kind of a light bulb for me whenever I didn't have to work every day to get my $450 a month in cash flow. It just came to me on the first every day. Whereas most of my friends had to go get hourly jobs and stuff like that to actually be able to, go out to eat and go get coffee and whatever it was at 16. So the fact that I could kind of work once and get paid forever kind of showed me at 16, like, hey, this is going to be a career I'm going to do forever.
Wow. What a story. I think most kids go and get allowances from their parents, and you went and bought yourself a mobile home. That is super awesome.
My parents made it very clear I was not getting an allowance. So I was going to have to figure out, hey, if you want to make money, you're going to have to figure out how yourself.
Cody, that is such an inspiring story, because at 16 years old, I don't think a lot of kids were thinking like you. What morphed from that? Like, what happened and what made you grow this 70-door portfolio, a $5 million portfolio today?
So I actually wanted to be an insurance broker. My whole life, I had this big drawn out plan with this specific company. I wanted to be an insurance broker. And my first week sitting inside of an office was the day that it clicked for me that I'm not going to be an insurance broker and I'm not going to work an office job the rest of my life. I couldn't do it. I actually went on Google and I just typed in how to invest in real estate. And the first thing that popped up on Google was BiggerPockets. And that's where the rabbit hole began. Got into BiggerPockets. I started looking at all these people doing deals with thousands of doors and people doing 100 flips a year and all these things. And none of them were picking up a hammer. None of them were doing any, manual labor themselves. And I said, okay, well, there's other ways to do this where I don't have to actually pick up the hammer and do the work myself. And that's kind of where it all began, funneling into what it is now.
Cody, what location are you in? Where were all your flips located?
Well, all this is in Southwest Louisiana. So it's at the southwest part of the Boot, right in Hurricane Alley.
Got it. And you guys keep on saying we. So did you have partners who were instrumental in your journey, or is it mentors, or who are you partnering with this whole time?
I partnered with my brother for a little bit first. He was with me for about a year flipping houses. And then my wife, she's an interior designer, so she would design all of our properties. So it was kind of a good little team. I had me and my brother to manage the construction, and I had my wife to design. And then my brother ended up phasing out about a year in. And then for about 2 years, me and my wife just flipped houses. She would come in and design them. I would come in and buy them. We'd fix them up and sell them. It was fantastic. It's been great.
Okay, so let's jump into the next part of our show, sus, canceled, trending. We all know that the market is changing, and as investors, it is so important for us to be flexible. We need to keep up with the trends, and right now, interest rates are high, buyer demand is lower, days on market is high. So in your business, what's looking sus? What are you canceling right now? And what is just trending? Soli, you want to explain the three?
Sure. So SaaSes are anything that you're just not sure if it'll work. Maybe, there's some hesitancy, uncertainty in the market. Canceled, we want to hear what you are just not going to touch right now, what you're staying very far away from, and then finally trending, what is really hitting, what are you loving, what do you feel like is the next wave of investing? So we're going to go through all three, and I guess first, let's start with what you are feeling a little suspicious about right now.
So I think coming up in this upcoming market, buyers are going to have their pick and choose of the houses that they want to buy. I think that the ones that I'm staying away from that I'm thinking are going to be a little bit fishy are the light rehabs that people just kind of go and put lipstick on the house and put it on the market. In my opinion, if you're not going to take a flip and you're not going to be the one to set the comp in the area, you're not going to hire interior designers, you're not going to make the house just incredible. Whenever people walk in, it doesn't have that wow factor. I think the house is going to sit on the market for months. You're going to get eaten up in holding costs. And at the end of the day, you're not going to make any money or possibly take a haircut and lose it. We've had bad luck with the ones that we're not renovating all the way. So we've kind of stopped away from that model. And if we're doing flips at this point, we want them to be wow houses. We want them to be the nicest homes in the market in that price range. So that way that we can quickly get it offloaded.
Cody, that's a really interesting perspective. I know, Leka, you flip a lot of houses in a very expensive market in the Washington, Seattle area. So what is your take on that? Is that the same in your market?
Yeah, I have to agree with Cody 100% because I'm always of the belief that you have to, in this market, deliver above market quality for under market pricing. And that's basically what I'm doing is designing my homes with a lot of different sizzle features and really just wowing my buyers as they walk through the door. My last flip just went on the market and literally every buyer that came in said, wow, we had no idea there's this much space and these design features are amazing, whether it's electric fireplaces or wallpaper or like drops, sconces, just the light fixtures, everything has to be done to the T because buyers just have a lot more options. So I agree with you 100%, Cody. Thank you for that perspective.
Yeah.
Let's go into the next one, canceled. What is one strategy that you will never try again? You've done that, you've learned from it, it was a mistake, and you've canceled it completely.
So I don't know if I'd label this as a strategy, but this is something that we won't do any more of. We took a haircut on a house last year, $15,000 hit on a house that was a super, super heavy rehab. The heavy rehab wasn't necessarily the issue, it was the size of the house. So the house was under 1,100 square feet. Even though we sold the house at the top of the market, we set the comps in the area by $15 a square foot, I want to say. It was like, we thought the house wouldn't appraise for that much money. Even though we sold it at that top tier price, we still lost $15,000 on the house. And it's because these small houses, no matter how nice and designed and beautiful you make them, they're just small square footage wise, and you just don't get a lot of value out of them. So you can value them as high as you want per square foot, but there's not a lot of square footage to assign value to.
Gotcha. Okay. So that leads us to our very last one. It is on trending strategies. What are you loving? What do you think is going to be the next hot thing? What is the Cody prediction for real estate?
So I'm super boring in my investing strategy. I think midterm rentals are great. I think short-term rentals are great and thing, but I'm a true believer in long-term rentals for single family, small multifamily, and large multifamily. I just think the business model works and it's worked for years. Where I think the real opportunity is coming in the next 12 months is in the single family space. I think that sellers are going to start getting itchy on selling their house as their days on market are increasing and prices are going to slash. I think that real estate investors are going to have the opportunity to go on the MLS and offer on properties that are listed, just offer it 70% of the purchase of the for sale price, 60% of the sale price, things like that, and just make really, really low offers. And I think that as you make more and more offers, you're going to get more and more accepted from sellers that are just really itchy to sell. Maybe they bought it 20 years ago and now they just want to get it off the market, but the market is terrible, so nobody's buying it. But an investor will come and buy it and pay cash or whatever your strategy is.
I think what I'm hearing you say is, for right now, get as liquid as possible and underwrite a lot of deals. Like, go out and look for deals that they are available.
Yes.
And this is the time to pounce.
I think the key thing is putting in the offers, though, because you can underwrite a million deals at asking price and none of them work. Unless you try putting in an offer at 70% or 50% or whatever works for you, you're never going to know whether they're going to accept it. So I think this strategy works for single families. I buy a lot of single families. It's funny because it's actually something that Leka and I disagreed on in our episode. Is I love single families. Leka doesn't like single families. But it also works for like commercial buildings that are on the market. Because like recently, we had a warehouse listed for $400,000, put in an offer at $225,000 and got accepted. And so people who are desperate to sell their properties at this time in the market are getting even more desperate, have overpriced their properties, and are willing to take, that's almost a 50% decrease. So I think anything on the market is really fair game for really aggressive offers.
Absolutely. My biggest thing is like get super cash heavy right now and just make a bunch of offers because, if you make 100 offers and 10 get accepted at 50% of the sale price, like you got 10 really, really, really good deals.
All right, so let's jump into our final segment at the real estate house party. And no party is complete without a party favor. And we have the best brought to you by Cody Caswell. Cody, what is your number one real estate investing advice that you want our audience to go home with?
So this is tried and true advice from investors, that are 30 years ahead of me. And the advice is buy it right. You make your money on the purchase. So when you're investing in real estate, you want to make sure that you're not banking to make money off of a sale price because a market can tank the way that it did now. If you had a house for sale back in January of last year, you were probably 30 to 40% higher price range than you are January of this year. But if you bought it right, if you bought it 40 or 50% under the market value, then you can still take the price cut and, you might not make as much money or you might even break even, but you're not going to lose money. So the key, I think, is make sure that you're buying it right. Make sure that you're, putting in really low offers. Make sure that you're, just make sure your offers justify a 30% price reduction and you're not going to lose money based on that 30% price reduction. So you make your money on the buy. That's my number one piece of advice.
And no matter how many years you've been investing in real estate, that just holds so true, is you make your money when you buy the deal.
Well, thank you so much, Cody, for joining us on our first real estate party. You are an amazing party guest. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Don't forget that next time you have an invitation to our real estate house party with more exciting party guests. We can't wait to see you there.